Okay, we've got a Squadron 42 newsletter to go through. It's the lovely tunes of Squadron 42 in the background. With the lovely visuals of Squadron 42, we don't get to see too many visuals from Squadron. They're always very scared to show us Squadron stuff, so we are going to get to these visuals soon, kind of the locations of the game. I'm guessing this is like where, I think Odin is where like 60-70% of the game takes place. So this is literally showing us, that's a bit loud. This is literally showing us what to expect in terms of where we're going in the game. First, they introduce it. This white dwarf-centered system may seem outwardly cold, but its unique spectral anomalies and convenient hauling hubs make it well worth the visit, as long as you're not expecting a handshake and a cup of cocoa. Thank you for referencing cocoa, okay? That's the proper hot drink. We know that here in the garden. Discover the once vibrant Fortune's Cross Station, explore the treacherous tunnels of the Coil, and feel the magnetic pull of the system's glorious auroras. Before you visit, be sure to download your very own map with all the information you'll need to keep safe and keep flying. Joke's on you, folks. I've got MapQuest. I don't need to download anything except for my directions. The introduction to this map. The Odin System is a planetary system in the UEE. It is made up of two... What? Chthonian? What the heck is Chthonian? Chthonic? Oh, it's just pronounced thonic. Thanic? Concerning, belonging to, or inhabiting the underworld. Who the f uses these words? Ah, the old Greeks. Yes, of course. The terms thonic and Chthonian are derived from these ancient Greek words that you guys put letters next to other letters. And they're weird. One of these planets is a gas giant, an unusual cosmic anomaly, and a white dwarf star. The anomaly was created when the first planet in the system was destroyed by its star, leaving behind a unique asteroid field beset by constant electrical storms. Corporations and research facilities that deal in dangerous materials conduct testing on Odin II. First thing to say about this is, what deep lore. Like, this is not a standard star system, and I love that. Because Santon is also not a standard star system. Pyro is not a standard star system. Nyx is not a standard star system. The only star system that we really know of so far in this game is like Terra, which is a star, some planets, some not habitable, some are habitable. But for the most part, like, I mean, I say normal star system. Okay, first of all, that's just a stupid thing to say, I guess. But I'm talking like Soul-like, what we're used to. And these all have something that really like sets them apart from the others. And I don't know how much they're going to be able to carry that throughout all the star systems. Obviously, this is a big part of why they're not doing 100 on release anymore. But I do wonder if they, like, at what point they'll start just like throwing generic star systems out there just to fill with for extra like exploration gameplay and expanding the space. Either way, this system is not planned in the first 5 of Star Citizen, but they're really going hard on the work for it for Squadron 42. So you can imagine then we're probably going to see this system fairly soon after Star Citizen 1.0 comes out. I say fairly soon as in next few years, not like the month after. Let's start from the most interior part of this space. I believe it's the Coil. Here they say, if you're looking for Odin 1, you'll be looking a long time. All that remains of the system is... All that remains of the system's first planet is a cosmic phenomenon known as the Coil, created when the system's star collapsed. I see the star right there, buddy. Now, we've seen a ton of the Coil. I'm gonna give you guys a little looky look at how the Coil has changed in appearance over the years. We're gonna start all the way back with, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find. There's a video where they show us Fortune's Cross. No, it's not in this one. I'm not going to try to find that video because it is very old. Okay, one more try. one more attempt. Not here. In that case, we are just going to jump to the pre-alpha vertical slice, where we get to see the Coil for the first time. In-game, in like proper completed game. So this is their inside the Coil here. So it's all gas clouds. Light doesn't really make it that far in. And there are some crazy electrical storms, as they say. So here, they're coming into approach on an asteroid that is basically cracked in half, but still floating very, very close together. And it creates this pretty cool environment where you're kind of, I mean, it's fairly, the way that they play this is very on rails, kind of not cinematic, but you know, you kind of get the idea of what's going on in here. You come run into a salvager, you talk to them a bit.
That's great, Captain. But all we need to know is if you picked up any signs of a second starfarer.
So continuing on, you get out of this asteroid and you can just see that the whole space is just clouds, 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 clouds. Like, it's a very hard to get place and it's supposed to be very hard to navigate. But it has changed a lot in appearance throughout the years. So that was 2017. You jump forward to 2019, and there's actually a very nice look at it from a distance. I think it's right here in the beginning. So I believe this is from inside the coil again, but the next shot, so here it is from a distance. You get a better idea of kind of what it looks like. And you can see you see it's like a glowing ball of joy with some red anger out here, but overall it's like a giant hurricane in space, which is kind of what this looks like. But you can tell they made it look a lot more grim in this more finalized version. I think it's looking pretty good, dude. That looks pretty good. So jumping forward again here, I don't know if we see the coil here at all.
It's probably one of the first times.
It's kind of near the coil. This is a location that we're going to go through on the map, though, so I'll keep that up here. Another time we see it, I think, is... Do we see it in the Held the Line trailer? Actually, don't think we do. So this part, this whole introduction that we know, as you'll see here, is actually taking place in Vega. There's 2 star systems. And we start out in Vega, but we eventually go to Odin, because I won't spoil that part of the game. I don't think we actually get any more real good distant visuals of the coil, but you get what it looks like. You see what it is. Let us continue on our map of Odin, or Squadron 42, whatever. Moving on from the coil, we have Odin II. Theorized to have existed within the system's green zone back when the star was alive, the uninhabitable surface only has a few research facilities. Odin II's moon, Vili, houses several transfer hubs that make an adequate stop for haulers transporting hazardous materials from the planet. Wow. This sounds like an awful place to be doing deliveries. Honestly, the Odin system sounds pretty like dead. Here is a comms relay station known as Aciato Station, not the bagel. We have an entire video that details the interior of this. We actually watched it together on stream recently. It's a little reminder for those of you if you don't remember. It looks good. Looks real nice. The way they describe this actually gets me really excited for the game, this level and how you're supposed to take it on. I am working on a Squadron 42 video because of this. Because yeah, if the game plays how they try to make this level out to play, I think it's going to be a better game than people expect. But we will see. You can market a game however you want. You can talk about it however you want. But it's not until we actually get to play it to see. And I've gone on and on about that whole thing. I'll wait to the video to tell you all I got it. If you recall correctly, this level has to be like Metal Gear Solid sneaky sneak vibes. It doesn't have to be, but it can be. They give you the option of going through levels how you want to, from which direction you want to. It's very Half-Life coded. There's a whole video. You can go watch this huge fly-through of this entire station. Like, they were not secretive about this part. Well, they were a little secretive, but they were very much... They did this so that they could basically satiate the community who wanted some Squadron 42 news at the time. But I do believe this briefing room is going to be something we see popping up again in the next few months. Moving on, though, or actually literally just moving and talking about this, the Aciato station is surrounded by a vast network of comm arrays. This Aciato station acts as the primary nexus to manage Odin's communications network and keeps the system's inhabitants connected. So communication in this game isn't a guarantee. It's not light speed. Maybe it is, but its light speed is relatively slow at these distances. So there's a whole back end of lore and fiction that goes into explaining how people communicate in this game, because you can't communicate through a jump point. Obviously, you can't communicate across vast distances between star systems. So they haven't gotten into how that's going to affect gameplay. A lot of people like myself are hoping that it comes to data running, but they've been very, very quiet about that. Fortune's Cross. This station looks... I didn't even realize we were seeing Fortune's Cross in the I Held the Line trailer. Because Fortune's Cross was something that they haven't talked about too much when it comes to this game, but it's popped up here and there in little bits, little references. And it's always just been like a representation on some UI. It's never really been a full show of what the station actually looks like until now. So I think this might be, hold on, this is in one of the pictures here. Yeah. So this is part of Fortune's Cross. You can tell right here. Same kind of background. So we can start to connect the dots as to what we're actually seeing is a relatively populated space station. See, this is the central part, right? This is that central opening where the cross meets. Can you please? Right here. And then here, this scene, you're flying through the space station.
Introducing new space station.
And you can tell it's heavily populated. You can see all the advertisements.
Scale, all brought together and designed to be as tangible as possible. We thought
so this
about
is the central
function,
part.
Their age, and tried to ensure there's a progression in artistic style with each station as you progress through the game.
Cool. I like seeing locations from different angles. It reads here, though its glory days are past, Fortune's Cross remains a lifeline for adventure-worn travelers and their ships. Straight off the Kessel Highway, the station has been battered by years of economic decline, yet still serves as a commercial staple of the system and popular transport hub for workers entering and leaving Odin. And why is that? Because the jump point is not far away from it. Maybe. It doesn't actually say where the jump point is. But I am assuming it's out here somewhere if Fortune's Cross is a popular stop-off. Despite its checkered reputation, Odin acts as an oasis of the UEE in this corner of the universe, directly connected to the Kellogg system, which enjoys UEE protection under the Fair Chance Act, and the two unclaimed systems of Nyx and Tanga. So we've got our common connection there to the current game, the Nyx jump point. Odin IA. This is the moon of the planet that got ripped up into the Coil. Also known as Gaini, this former moon has the rare distinction of orbiting Odin's sun and not a planet, though it still drifts near the ruins of its late parent, Odin I. Gaini once played home to many fracking and gas refinement plants until tectonic instability forced their relocation. So they don't mention the terraforming machines here, but they do show it here in one of the pictures. You can barely see this with chat there. This upper picture here on the right is one of their terraforming stations. He mentions it during their... right here.
Ultimately, This is the final phase of gameplay iteration before we fully transition
So this
to
is gaming.
optimization and stability on the road to release.
Agent Trejo, this is Colton. Come back. Always trips me out to see terraforming setups like this. Webb tried explaining how atmosphere processors work. Really shows how far we've come. Hell is she?
You can see what Gainey used to look like actually in that older video we just looked at, the Squadron one. So this is the old version of Gainey, I believe. And you can see just how much they've changed the visuals of it. Might be wrong about this though. Yeah, Gainey nav point alpha. Yeah, so this is how much that planet has changed from what we saw in 2017 to, I believe, 2023. I'll give you a chance to watch this. So not only was quantum travel not as cool, but Gainey looked quite a bit different. Had like literal small tiny asteroids floating in the like low orbit of the planet. Like these asteroids are so close to the actual. If you watch them fly down to the surface of this moon,
Take a look around.
you can actually see just how close all of this wreckage and stuff that's floating in the asteroid field. Like look at how close this is to the surface. So there's got to be really low gravity there, right? Anyways, that's just a little nitpick. Clearly they got rid of that for the final model. But you can see just how much stuff changes over time. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff here that's been referenced before in Squadron 42's history. We've gone through most of the locations now here. I think there's a couple more. We got Odin III. Though easily overlooked, Odin III offers insight into the history of the system, making it home to several ongoing scientific endeavors. I don't think we've really seen much of Odin III throughout the years. You know, some of this stuff might be around Odin III, and we just don't get the visuals to tell us. There's a lot of environments they've shown here. I think this is also Gainey, by the way. So you can see the terraforming machines out in the planet. So this whole boat scene that happens,
So we can focus on individual areas to deliver the best experience.
Get out of sight. The Cutlass is gonna spot you.
yeah, so this is
This allows us to bring
all
all
on that
disciplines
Gainey moon.
together with a unified vision of enhancing the gameplay by seamlessly blending it with polished visuals, final cinematic performances, and our ever-improving technology.
a lot of infrastructure down there. And then if we go to the more recent gameplay showcase, they dropped a trailer at the end of that, if you remember. And in the trailer, we get a really brief shot of Gainey too.
Maybe a small crew.
So a lot of this stuff is probably like these locations we're seeing. This is likely one of the space stations they're talking about here.
You're clear to launch.
So that's a shot of the Coil, right? Right. You can tell the Coil is in the background right there. You can tell this is Aciato with all the comm relays posted up around it. There's Aciato again. We don't know what this is, but it looks really interesting. It looks like almost a pirate flotilla of just wreckage. This looks like pieces of possibly like a warship, a Bengal maybe or something. So here looks like it's probably Fortune's Cross space station. Yeah, that's the cargo loading. This is likely in the Coil. This is one of the other space stations. I think that was what they mentioned in the Coil here. Archon Station right here, I believe, is this bad boy. And this is all Gainey that we're seeing here. Coil. Probably more Gainey. And then this is the real trickster, is when the Jeans show up. That is, what are they getting at there? Thinking they're probably trying to set some breadcrumbs for Squadron 42 Episode 2, to be honest. That's a lot of Odin 3, but that was a lot of Gainy, but we haven't seen much Odin 3. The last planet here is Odin 4, believe it or not. It does go in order. And it reads, no one sets foot on this gas giant. That makes sense. But its volatile yet beautiful atmosphere makes it well worth a flyby. Travelers can refuel at one of the many facilities orbiting the planet while taking in the breathtaking beauty of Odin 4's hypnotizing auroras. Interesting. I'm sure we'll have some fun gameplay to take place there. But that, my friends, is probably the major locations in Squadron 42, at least as far as Odin is concerned. This is, I think this is part of marketing starting to pick up. We will see just how deep this gets before CitizenCon, but I do think with a release like this is pretty significant. With a release like this, it's looking more and more likely that they might be trying to get marketing up and going faster. This looks like, you know, full-on casual marketing kind of release. Probably something we're going to see put out in a more public way in the future. But for now, it's just part of the Q3 newsletter, which says 2026. Interestingly enough. Now I want all of these pictures. I want all of these pictures in real, like, am I going to be able to rip these out? Because this is, no, it's just all one picture. Damn. Give. Please give. Either way, I hope you got some information on Squadron 42 here. I'm thinking this is going to be a pretty cool game for anybody who likes cinematic space games. We will definitely be covering a lot more of this throughout the next few months and the next year.